Welcome into episode number 176 of The Voice Behind the Voice. I'm Sean Aronson, the TV and radio broadcaster for the St. Paul Saints, an independent minor league baseball team in the Twin Cities. Sans microphone today. See? No microphone. Wearing what they call a lav. Microphone right here, right up against the chest here. Two things I want to get to before we get to this week's episode. Number one, from LA, right? Angelinos take a lot of gruff for showing up to sporting events late and leaving early. And if you talk to anyone from Los Angeles, the reason they do that is because of the traffic, right? The traffic is just a pain getting to Dodger games or Laker games or whatever it may be, right? Traffic is a mess out there. Anyone that's ever been to Los Angeles understands that, they know that. But the rest of the country gives people from LA a hard time for showing up late and leaving early. Minnesotans can now no longer complain to us about us showing up late. The biggest football game in collegiate history in this state, perhaps, is happening, well, now last weekend. I'm recording this on a Friday, so go with me on this, and I'll tell you why in a second. But it's happened last Saturday. They finally sold the game out on Thursday. So 2 days before the game, they finally sold it out, right? Not that there was a million tickets left over, but there was enough, and they finally sold it out. One of the reasons being thrown around out there for why the game did not sell out earlier is it was the opening of deer hunting season. I am baffled. They have a saying here in Minnesota that this person is one of us. I am not one of them. I don't understand this. This doesn't make any sense to me. How deer hunting, the opening of deer hunting, could be your excuse for not selling out a huge football game of two highly ranked teams that are undefeated, and that seems to be the number one reason that people are throwing around that it did not sell out earlier. That baffles me. If anyone has any explanation for this or why that rationale makes sense, please feel free to reach out to me. The second topic I want to get to, less of a rant on this one, but I am recording this earlier than I normally would. Usually I would record the Open on a Monday. I'm recording this on a Friday, and that is because, as an office, we are headed to Las Vegas for 4 days that began on Sunday, took us all the way through Thursday, and couple of days of relaxation, couple of days of meetings. We've talked about this the last few years that we've been doing this podcast. All the teams we own get together every year to share ideas. Last year we were in Nashville. This year we'll be in Las Vegas. And I'm a big Vegas guy. Love Vegas. Can't wait for this trip. So it should be a good time. So next week when I come to you, I'll let you know how the trip went in terms of whether it was profitable or not for myself. With that said, let's get to episode number 176. It is Chris Kerber of the St. Louis Blues. Met him at the team hotel, and again, just like everybody, super nice guy. Some great stories, humorous story about him applying for a minor league job and kind of blanketing the country for a minor league job and mixing up his resumes in the wrong envelopes. So sending one resume to someone that was different label on the mailing address, and the other person got the wrong resume as well. I think the teams were like Las Vegas and Cincinnati or something like that. But it just tells you attention to detail, always extremely important, but a pretty humorous story. And he's got a number of other great stories, including them winning the Stanley Cup last year and the kind gesture that Chris, who's the radio guy, did for the TV broadcaster, and why it was important in St. Louis Blues history for him to make such a kind gesture. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, you can do so wherever you get your podcast, and be sure to rate us. And then you can follow us on social media, Twitter at The Voice BTV, Facebook, facebook.com/TheVoiceBTV, and you can always email me, thevoicebtv@gmail.com. All right, let's get to it. Episode number 176 with Chris Kerber of the St. Louis Blues. JW, What's the worst reason you've ever given for not showing up to a big sporting event? Roll the open.
I just got to ask, what's it going to take to work for the St. Louis Blues? And he looked at me and he steps up and he goes, what'd you get a degree in? I said, marketing. He goes, from where? I said, Miami of Ohio. He goes, you want some real advice? I went, yeah. He goes, quit your job and get a real job. Okay, I wasn't prepped for that. I could feel my face getting red, kind of with some anger. I went, what? And he goes, why would somebody want the job you're in? All you're going to do is get fired. You want some real advice? Get a real job. Somebody working for Procter & Gamble would be more valuable to me than you would be.